Grab your board, take a ride, take a hike and get outside. It's dropping New England, yeah.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining a new episode of the Drop in New England podcast. I'm your host, Brendan, and it is April 16th, 2021, and it's been snowing in New England for about the past, 12 hours, I think. And I'm actually sitting in the parking lot at Magic Mountain in southern Vermont, and I'm looking at the green chair as I record this episode. So I'm in the zone right now. I'm feeling good. I'm up here. I'm in search for powder. There are no lifts spinning in Vermont, I don't think at all at this point. I think J Peak is still spinning right now. So whatever I do is going to have to be on foot. So definitely going to be hiking. I brought my trekking poles. So I'm ready to go. Just need to figure out where I'm going. I did come to Magic. I heard a rumor from my wife. She said that they mentioned on Facebook they may open the green chair. So I came here to check it out, to scope it out. And then she told me that they decided they could not. So I guess that's out of the question at this point. But anyway, I'm here. I'm going to chill out in the parking lot for a little bit, and then I'm going to head down into town and try to find some lodging. So I'm on a solo adventure, and it's been a while since I did one of these solo adventures, you know. I really didn't have a plan or anything. I had the day off from work, and I just decided to get in the car and take off and head to Vermont. So I know Saddleback was open today and tomorrow. I was going to head there, but it was a little bit too far of a drive. So I said, let me keep it close. And, here I am. So, but I do have to go out and find lodging, or I might just end up sleeping in the car if I cannot find lodging. So we will see what happens. But just wanted to reflect on this season of winter sports. I was going to say, though, before I start reflecting a little here, I was going to say, if you haven't listened to the last 4 episodes, definitely check them out. I've had some guests on, some awesome guests. Had Tyler Ray of the Granite Backcountry Alliance, had TJ Thran of Current, Kate Brown of Kate Brown Photo, and Aaron Beauregard of Aaron Beauregard Horror, who is a local writer. All episodes have been really good, got a lot of downloads, great reception. So check them out. This episode I am actually going to do solo, no guests this week. I had 1 or 2 guests lined up, but it fell through. One of them for sure fell through. The other one is tentative, probably going to be another couple weeks before we have him on. But anyway, let's reflect a little bit on the season. As always, everyone's going to say 2020 was a unique year, and 2021 is so far been unique as well, just because of this pandemic. I mean, it's just been, the pendulum has just been going back and forth, you know. I mean, states are lifting restrictions, and then they harden the restrictions, and then it's just been going back and forth. But overall, we were able to get outdoors a lot this winter. I think as a New England community, I think we were able to enjoy this winter. I think when everything started in earlier in 2020, when the resorts all basically closed right in March, when ski season really starts firing on all cylinders, that kind of took everyone by surprise. But that was a huge indicator of how serious this thing was. So, but I'm just glad they were able to lift enough restrictions to get people on the hill. Now, I've been always wanting to do more backcountry riding. It's been a huge goal of mine, and I haven't done enough of it. But I was able to get 5 good backcountry days in this year. Okay, so no lifts, just hiking with my board and some friends, and I think 1 or 2 I did solo. But I was able to get out and do more backcountry riding, which has been something. Again, it's been a huge goal of mine, and I just I haven't really pulled the trigger full on it yet, but I'm glad I got 5 days in, and they were fun. Get the heart pumping, get the adrenaline really rushing. I think it was awesome. But I ended up getting 11 days in at regular ski locations. So overall, it was a good season. I think I got 2 days at Berkshire, 2 at Bolton, 2 at Magic, one at Cannon, 1 at Wildcat, 1 at Cranmore, 1 at Catamount. Might be a few more in there, but anyways, definitely a good season. Did not get a ton of powder days, but I did find, I think anyone that did get out there would find that they were pretty strict at the ski locations about mask wearing, and for good reason. I mean, the states have restrictions and the states have guidelines, and as a business, I think you have to just play ball, and they did play ball, and they were I found them anytime the mask slip was on my upper lip, somebody was there to tell me to put on my mask. So I mean, that's fine. It's a small price to pay. I mean, I think it's something we all have to do. But again, I was just grateful to get out there a lot and actually get some hiking in and get some riding in and get out there with some of my friends and ski and ride. I did have some bloopers. Every year is not complete without some bloopers. This year, I mean, probably one of the biggest bloopers I've ever pulled in my life was this year. And this is such an embarrassing story, but I'm still in disbelief it happened, to tell you the truth. But I was with a friend of mine, Luke. If you're listening, you're going to know exactly what I'm going to talk about. But we were at a place. I won't even mention the place just because I don't want to bring any negative vibes to it. But we got on a lift and we thought it was sort of we thought the lift went up higher than it did. It really only went up like a couple hundred yards, and it was just for a beginner hill. And we were on it and we were talking, and I don't know how this happened, but we didn't get off the lift. So the lift it spun around and did a complete 180 and started going back down, and we didn't even realize it. And the lifty had to hit the emergency brake, and the lift stopped. And I was like, "What just happened?" And he was like, Luke was like, "I don't know." And we were both just looking down. We were downloading at that point, and the lifty just looked at us, shaking his head. And I'm like, And then there was a guy with like his daughter, like an elderly guy, coming up, and he was like right across from us. And he goes, "Guys, it says right there, prepare for prepare for offload." And I just looked at him, and I'm like, I got nothing, man. I can't even respond because I'm so embarrassed that I can't, And then he shook his head, and then. They ended up starting to lift back up, and we had to ride it all the way back down with people looking at us all, trying not to look at us, kind of looking at us out of the corner of their eyes, like, what's wrong with these two? And, I don't know. I think we were laughing, but I think we were just so embarrassed. And we got to the bottom, and like the lifty's like this 17-year-old kid, and he has to walk over, and he's like, "Oh, you want me to get your boards for you guys?" And I'm like, no, it's all right. I can handle it. And like, we jumped off, and that's kind of the end of the story. But I don't know. If you have any stories like that you'd want to share, I'd be happy to share them on this podcast. So just I'm going to get into that later, how you can contact me. But anyway, that was my blooper of the year. But I'll move on from that. Anyway, I hope everyone did have a good year. I think I'm going to jump right into this now. I was going to save to the end, but I was going to say if anyone does have any good stories they want to share, anything off the beaten path, any, again, bloopers, any excitement, any really unique stories, you can find me on Instagram at Drop in New England Podcast, and just drop me a direct message or just tag me in a post or something like that, and I will read it. I don't get a ton of tags or direct messages, so I read them all. I mean, the few a week I get, I always read them, so I'm not overwhelmed, so there's a guarantee I'll definitely read it. And if you want to be a guest on the podcast, I can even have you on if you want to tell it, or I can tell the story. So I'm always looking for new content. I'm always looking for new guests and again, unique stories, unique guests, and that's what this podcast is all about. We've done a lot about skiing and riding, so anything, I'm thinking like, I'm totally on board with skiing and riding stories if you have them, but other stuff as well, like dog sledding, I think, or any other winter activities, whether it just be hiking or snowmobiling or ice fishing or winter surfing or winter swimming or whatever it might be, winter four-wheeling, definitely feel free to get at me so we can share your story. But anyway, though, it's it's kind of a snow sleet right now as I'm talking in the parking lot, so I can see a few flakes coming down. So it still feels like winter, and I'm ready to let winter go. I don't know if you are. I'm ready to let it go. I think most people are, but this was just a tease. I mean, I mean, it's just, I don't know. I just really wanted us to get hit with one big giant nor'easter with 18 inches of snow. I know Pico is forecasting 18 inches. I think it was Wednesday. And I was like, that's it. I'm just going to go to Pico and I'll figure it out when I get there. And then, I was checking the report and my buddy Dave called me yesterday at noon. He was like, dude, the reports are like half what they were 12 hours ago. And then it was even less later in the day, and everything just flattened. I mean, everything, it just was like ebbing and flowing all week, going back and forth. It was going from 18 inches to 16 to 17 down to 11. So everything sort of leveled out at around, 10 inches max. I think Wildcat was getting like 10 inches over 2 days. So again, just a huge tease for winter enthusiasts. Yeah, I think got our excitement level up, and then Mother Nature just pulled the rug out from underneath us like she does a lot in New England. We know that. So, but anyway, yeah, I'm going to make this a pretty short episode. This will be under 15 minutes, so a nice little microcast for you. I hope you enjoyed the blooper story anyway. It is something that happened, and not proud of it, but it is what it is. Folks, I will have some more exciting guests on, so keep finding me on Instagram and just keep an eye on your your podcast feed. When my episodes upload, you should get a push notification for that. So if you haven't subscribed to the podcast, you can definitely find us on most major platforms at this point. So find us, subscribe, email us or text it out to some of your friends. Look us up on Instagram. Folks, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this episode. Thank you so much for listening. Everyone be safe, and we will talk to you soon.